Welcome back to the channel, you guys. Today we're going to talk about something that a lot of us want to get into. A lot of people have a lot of interest in. We see it as a natural progression in our capability, both as individuals, as well-prepared citizens, but also within a group. If we're working with a team of our peers, with a gathering of our confidants, whatever have you, right? We talk a lot about getting into communications, tactical comms, or survival radios. Whatever you want to call this, it's something that a lot of people really want to get into, but we don't really know where to start. And a lot of times we don't want to spend a lot of money doing it, which, as with all things in this community, in this lifestyle, this hobby, whatever you want to call it, that doesn't actually usually work. You have to give something up to get something. So unless you're willing to, spend hundreds of dollars on comms gear, you're usually going to run into some issues, but a lot of people start with the UV-5R here from Baofeng. We're going to get into maybe some things we can do a little bit differently. Before we get into this week's video though, I want to make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, hit the notifications bell. We're dropping content all the time. And in addition to this, you guys like the video, make sure you're heading on over, following us on our Instagram, check out the podcast on Spotify if you want more information on tactical comms, squad-based comms, all that good stuff. We've had several experts on and lots of good information over there as well. And with that, let's go ahead and let's dive into better tactical comms. Okay, so the UV-5R, this is where everybody starts. Well, I'd say about 99% of people start with their journey on wanting to communicate better with their teammates. Now, here's the thing I will say as a overall and broad sweeping caveat is you don't need to invest in comms. You don't need to invest in comms if you don't have anybody to talk to. That's the thing. A lot of people want to buy the really cool headsets. They want to get the G-Wiz gadgets and everything that go with it. And that's awesome. It looks cool, which is really, really important. But if you don't have anybody to talk to, why are you investing in comms? So it goes back to the whole discussion about building a preparedness group and a team that you train with. But it's not worth investing that money until you actually have somebody to talk to who can talk back. So if none of the guys in your training group are interested in investing hundreds and hundreds, potentially even thousands of dollars into setups, then maybe you shouldn't either. And that's why a lot of people start with the UV-5R. For $20, it's not a bad radio, and it comes with a lot of stuff out of the box. You can, for a little bit more money, get kits on Amazon, right? Where you get like this bigger battery so it stays charged longer. You can buy better antennas because the one they give you is kind of crappy, right? And with these, it gets you into the whole concept, the ability to talk with your friends if you know how to program these on some family radio service or FRS frequencies where it is legal for you guys to transmit. Otherwise, you do need a ham radio license, which is another big roadblock for people that want to get into comms, but they want to follow the laws, as we hopefully are, and that's a big stumbling point for them. Now, there's some detractors here. Obviously, it's a $20 radio. You're going to have some issues. The quality, the sound quality, it's not the greatest. Like I said, it doesn't come with everything that you always need, and it's not waterproof. So if this thing does get wet, you may have some problems. The biggest issue with this is, we'll see here, you guys can see that is the 2-pin Kenwood plug connector that the UV-5R and similar pattern radios utilize. It's a very, very poor plug. The design is flawed. It's just not executed well. It doesn't matter if you go buy really, really nice push-to-talks from reputable manufacturers like Disco 32, which is what I have here on my plate carrier. This push-to-talk was about $120. It's their U94, I think. Great push to talk, but it's still hooked up to a Kenwood 2-pin connector, and so there are issues with it. So what you end up having to do is a couple things. You connect that, you have to actually put a Ranger band over the radio connection to make sure that plug stays connected, because even just gentle movements on your body, on your kit, will actually be enough to separate the plug and cause intermittent issues with your comms. I experienced that firsthand out in the field. Additionally, because the buttons are not recessed, there's nothing additional you can do to, prevent negligent discharges of that talk button. You have to get things like the Great Plains Designs exoskeleton. This is a different one that I grabbed off Etsy for less money. If you have a UV-5R, get the Great Plains exoskeleton. It is worth the money. They do blem sales, so they're really not that expensive. Support a fantastic business. There's their sticker right there. And it is, in my opinion, essential if you're running the UV-5R for your communications. But let's talk about how we can do better. So what my training group has moved to is this guy. So this is the UV-9G, also from Baofeng. Now, cost implications. What are they, Austin? Well, I'll tell you, this is double the price of this radio. So now you're spending if you're spending a whopping $40, maybe even a little bit less, on this radio, and what does it come with? So the nice thing about some of the Baofeng packages is it does come with a lot of the accessories that we're looking for straight out of the box. So we have a programming cable. If you're gonna be working in a team, hopefully you have a designated comm person that can go ahead and help with the programming. The Chirp software is absolutely free, and it is very helpful to have multiple comms channels set up in your device with backups if you guys need them or want them. It does also come with an earpiece with the push to talk, which is nice. If you're on a budget, you can run this with your kit. It plugs straight into the side of the unit. It just hooks into your ear like an earbud, and then you have a very small push to talk button you can clip somewhere on your person or on your kit. Additionally, it comes with not one, but 2 batteries. Owner's manual that we'll never use, let's be honest here. This one comes with a trucker mic or a shoulder mic, so if you aren't in the market to have super expensive comms, you can use this as the poor man's push to talk, mounted to hopefully some kind of shoulder strap or something like that, where you can communicate with this. And it comes with a charging base. Right? So you can use this to charge and recharge your batteries. That way you can keep a spare on you in case this dies. And then additionally, we have a long and a short whip style antenna. So I paid $38.99 plus shipping for this and everything that you just saw in the box. That's all included in that money, which is why people really, really like these radios. Now, let's talk about what this radio does. Hey, why do I need to switch from a UV-5R? Or why should I consider this for twice the money? Well, because you're still spending less than $50 on your radio. Don't be so freaking cheap. But in addition to that, this is IP67 rated waterproof. That meaning that if this gets wet, right, waterproof, water resistant, I think it's up to 3 meters for up to 30 minutes. This can be submerged and still be fine. Additionally, it takes the same thread pitch on the antennas as your UV-5R will. So if you're like me, and you are running the Cattail Antennas wearable antenna on your radio, and Will's a tremendous guy. If you haven't checked out Cattail, I highly, highly encourage you to look at these. So you have a big shoot me stick on the front of your kit. You have this nice wearable antenna that you can route through your shoulder or your cummerbund and keep it on your back out of the way, and it extends your range. That thing is probably 2 to 3 times the length of this whip antenna, so it really, really is helpful. Now the UV-9G is what I have. There's also a 9R, R meaning rechargeable, but by nature and definition, having that recharge port in the back of your battery means that it is not waterproof, you guys. So I would steer clear of that one. Personally, just use the charging base it comes with. You don't need it to work with your phone charger unless you think you really do. Now, the other thing about this is a GMRS radio. And here's a big kicker, is that you can purchase a GMRS license through the FCC for $35. And that license actually does cover you, your family, and close friends. So without getting into the minutia of what that means, there's other resources out there for it. For $35 with no test, you can transmit on the frequencies included in this transceiver, right, that this one can reach for $35. I believe it's like a 10-year license. So once every 10 years or something like that, and you guys will have to check me on that in the comments, you have to renew this, but there's no test. Whereas when I wanted to actually be able to press the talk button and transmit on the UV-5R here, I had to go take a test. I had to go pass my general ham license, which I have, and nobody else in my training group did. So we didn't even use the full suite of frequencies and capability that this radio offered. We just Got some that had the ability to use FRS frequencies and transmitted on those because it's legal to transmit on those frequencies. Now this is a GMRS device, like I said. You can use those frequencies completely legally for $35. You don't have to worry about it. The functionality is exactly the same. And if we're talking about footprint here, I mean, antenna notwithstanding, these are roughly the same size, which means they're going to work in most of the gear that you already have. So something like this radio pouch from B's Combat Systems, where you can actually adjust the size of the pouch by, and I just got this, this wasn't sent to me, I did pay for this. You can actually unvelcro this, you can flip it for left side, right side, put the radio in here. It has cutouts on the side there, so you can still get to the talk button if you want, but it has adjustable retention on the top here so that you can keep this on your kit as an expander wing and your radio is not gonna be flopping around. I know there's other ones on the market, like what I'm currently running. Actually, I think what I currently have is a Amazon very cheap Velcro expander wing, but just a tube of elastic with some shock cord on the top. It's not great. You really have to fight to get your radio in and out because you have to accommodate for the side plug and the exoskeleton. So then when your battery dies, you're fighting to, I think with me, I have to actually use the disconnect on my radio here. I have to use the disconnect, pop that off so the antenna comes off, fight with the bungee that's on there, pull the whole thing out, switch the battery, squeeze it back in there. You got to fight with the plug for the push to talk. Now, that's the one thing that makes this so much better is that this, speaking of that, is that this uses the Motorola footprint, or one of the Motorola footprints, and it's a pin-based connector, and I'll show you guys here on this trucker mic. Is a 6-pin system, so it clips in and then it tightens down with a screw. So it's a much more positive, much more secure connection. So this will be the same. Obviously, this is on the shoulder mic, but it will be the same on your push to talk, which you can get from Disco 32, which I have on order. It'll be here in a couple days. It'll replace the existing Disco 32 push to talk that I have on my Faro FCPC right here. It's going to function exactly the same way, and that way I can use it with my communications headset. So we talk about communication headsets. This is a set of Contact 5s on my PGD Arc Gen 3 helmet. Whatever helmet, doesn't really matter, you guys. Figure it out for what you want in your own. But they have these large NATO plugs, which is why you need a push to talk. If you want to run it directly to your headset and you want just so you don't have to look this up, if you are going to go this route, the contacts use low impedance, not high, because of the microphone style. So make sure you select that when you're on the Disco website. They're not a supporter of ours. I would love it if they were, but just giving you guys the information that I had to figure out for myself when I was ordering this. So our group is going to be working, most of us actually run the contacts, and we're going to be running with these radios going forward after our radio guy was able to do his research, figure out for the price point, we wanted to be about $200, maybe a little bit less all in. So for us to get licenses, radios, and push to talks, we're right about the $200 mark, which is reasonable for a group of people who are just getting started into comms and communications. Yes, there's way better options out here than a $40 Baofeng. But if you guys are one of the people out there like me, and you're wanting to get past the cringy UV-5R, I think that the 9G is a fantastic choice. I'm really looking forward to getting started with it. And honestly, you can keep these. You should keep these. These are fantastic emergency radios. I have, I think, 4 or 5 of them around here. I see there's one over there. I got 2 right here. I got 1 on the kit. There's 3 here right now. And honestly, you really can't go wrong with them for emergency applications. Like I said, they come with everything. They come with the charger. You can hand these out to family, friends, neighbors in the event of an emergency. So don't get rid of these. And I'm not saying that these were a poor investment on your part. What I'm saying is that as better options are available on the market, we need to take a closer look at those and set ourselves up for success by considering the pros and cons behind it. I think the biggest 2 are the GMRS license, for sure, and then the use of the Motorola connector, so you're going to have far less issues with your comms. Hopefully this is helpful for you guys. Unfortunately, with comms and things, like I said, the PTT is about $120. That stings a little bit. The radio is about $40, maybe a little bit more depending on what you want to get with it. But you're still going to be under that $200 mark. As far as your ear pro and your headphones go, there are some kits out there for things like walkers, razors. I think Defense Distributors has a really nice kit for about $100 where you can Velcro on a boom mic onto your razors and use their special push to talk. But that is unique, I believe. That could be wrong, you have to check for yourselves. I believe that is unique to the UV-5R. But if you did want tactical comms out getting into ear pro, that is probably the cheapest route to go. $40-50 for your ear pro, $100 for the kit, and then your $20 for your Baofeng here. Beyond that, if you're looking to get into something like contacts, you can buy them used for several $100s. Usually around the $300 to $400 mark is about as cheap as you really want to go with those. Brand new, they are upwards of $500-600, $800. If it's the brand new, I think that's the Contact 8s, even more than that, you guys. So comms is something that you really have to be smart with how you invest in it. Now, talking about the ear pro and everything, it also protects your ears. So on PPE, please don't cut corners, please don't skip. Get good ear protection, worry about comms as a secondary point, like we talked about in the beginning of this video. If you're not talking with anyone, you don't really need to invest heavily in your comms, and be smart about it. It's a progression. I've been training with my group for about 2 years now, and we are just now taking our step out of the UV-5R because we don't train comms all the time and we don't get together super often. So it's a progression. It doesn't have to be an all at once deal. Be smart with how you guys spend the money. Hopefully this is helpful. If you guys like this, again, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe so you don't miss any of this. We're dropping videos every other week or every week sometimes. Thank you guys so much for the support, and we will catch you on the next one.